The new CEO is taking over for Cook, John Ternus. I think he's on the call, which is going on right now, the conference call. And the stock has just shot up. It closed at 271. Now it's at 281 as I look at it. So it's up $9 or $10. All right.
Wow.
You must own it, John. Stay calm. Pete, what do you say?
Yeah, well, you know, when you really look at the numbers they put up, they were generally very good. And they obviously, at first, I think people are just trying to get their way through this whole thing, trying to determine what's going to happen with the new CEO into the future or whatever. Right. And so that, I think, has people a little bit, you know, maybe a little angst about that. But I don't think there should be. I think this is a company that's been able to do so many different things. They've got new products coming out on the health side of things and so forth. So I think for those reasons, I think that Apple has itself in a great position to maybe start testing those 52-week highs.
Tim Cook,
and all-time highs.
And all-time high. Tim Cook made a lot of people, John, as you know, a lot of money as CEO. He followed a legend himself, though, obviously, in Steve Jobs. So this new guy, Ternus, coming in, what should people be looking for?
Well, just a quick history thing, a look back, if you will. When Tim Cook was appointed, but not into the job, but they named him as the successor to Mr. Jobs. When they did that, the stock was down 6% that day. And then the next day, down another 3%.
Right.
Then a $1,000 investment went to $20,000 in the 15 years that he's been there. So you're right. He's made a lot of us a lot of money. What should they be looking for? They should look at Apple and the fact that they're not spending on AI, just like you just detailed all the other big companies that are. They're spending $50 billion, $80 billion, $125 billion or more in the case of Meta.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, and maybe even debate it if you guys. I don't know if you guys feel the same. So, and the reason I interrupt, so I want to pop up on the screen some of our charts on that. So big tech's capital spending growth rates. So this is these companies, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon that you're talking about. So the top line here is 100% growth. So like this is just this quarter, first quarter of 2006, and in this case, Google was up at 100% growth, but in other quarters it was Meta or Microsoft or Amazon. They've all been spending like crazy to the point here you see it on this, in the aggregates. It basically is as AI came in, which was back then, they started to go up in their spending like this, and their stocks, as it shows at the end of this, have been rewarded. Will they continue to be? So that's been the debate of the week. So Pete starts, John continues about whether all of this is going to, not pay off. I think everybody believes in AI, but whether we're ahead of ourselves in the spending and all of that. That's what people have been talking about.
The spending certainly is something that's just absolutely amazing, right? I mean, we look at these numbers and we kind of are just mesmerized by what we're seeing. But I think that they actually feel that the AI that they're creating and the chips, I think the thing that stands out for me right now is I look over at somebody like Amazon or Google. Google, for instance, they create some of their own chips. They compete right there with NVIDIA. Then you've got the same thing going on with Amazon. So I think that's what gives them a little bit more strength, and they're putting unbelievable amounts of money into this. But I think they're going to see a lot more of that coming back to them into the future. But so many people said, hey, AI is done. It's absolutely done. It's gone, it's made its run, and that's it, right? Well, the reality is those people have been wrong for about the last 9 or 10 months because all it's done is just continue to make this move to the upside. Amazon's at all-time highs. Google's at all-time highs. I mean, these are monstrous companies that are making incredible moves to the upside, and a lot of that, I think, has to do with some of the positioning that they are making in the AI space.
Well, in theory, we're just getting started. It's just a question of whether, just from an investment point of view, we're getting ahead of ourselves on the spending. But are you saying, John, that Apple doesn't have to do this, that Apple doesn't have to play catch-up because it's been behind, people would argue, in AI, but maybe that's okay and it does it a different way?
Yeah, I think they use a lot of this. I mean, the search engine. Is it Apple? Is that what their search engine is for 1.4 billion devices worldwide? No, it's Google.
Right.
So do they need to be number one in search? No, they can just plug in who is number one. Do they need to be basically using the expense to go up for everybody? Because that's what we're doing here. You're just all chasing the same chips. If it's NVIDIA, you're chasing the data center, you're chasing the energy needs, And a lot of these things get permitted years out into the future before you can build a new data center. So they would only be hurting themselves, in my opinion anyway, Connell, if they really focused on, yeah, we got to be number one in AI. No, they don't. Right. They could partner up with Twitter and Grok or Super Grok. They could partner up with Claude or OpenAI or whatever. I mean, even Microsoft had an exclusive with OpenAI until yesterday. And now, okay, it can go to anybody. I think that that's the way things are going.
Well, the stock's at 283 now, so maybe you can finally buy Pete a dinner or something, John. That's not bad. That's $12 so on Apple after hours.
Connell, you know what the best AI stock is? The very best performing AI stock.
Don't be using this show to pump up some penny stock. Come on.
Not going to do that. Caterpillar. They came out with earnings today.
That's not a penny stock.
They've got the power side of things. They're doing the data centers. They're the builder. They're the ones that are part of they're the picks and shovels and everything else. And take a look at that stock, what it's done over the last year. Put that up against any AI stock you can find, and they are part of it. They're number one.
That's interesting. Caterpillar in AI. Wouldn't have thought of it. No, it's not a penny stock. I got to run, guys. You're always fun to talk to, though. Pete and John on the Najarians.